Hello, everybody. I'm Nese Karabekir, birth psychotherapist and psychodrama trainer, childbirth educator from Istanbul Birth Academy from Turkey. And we have Barbara Harper here. I call her the queen of the waterbirth. Welcome, Barbara.
I need my crown.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Nesha.
Welcome, really. We are very honored to have you here. We are right now in Marmaris, Turkey. So we just finished our Waterbird workshop from Izmir, Acıbadem Kent Hospital with 50 people, 50 participants,
Mhm.
doctors, midwives, nurses, doulas, and birth psychologists. So we decided to do an interview with her behalf of Prenatal Alliance. So welcome again.
Teşekkür. Thank you. Thank you.
You can also speak Spanish, Japanese, Indian, because Prenatal Alliance, like we have from different countries, really.
Exactly. And I love supporting the Prenatal Alliance and everything they represent, which for me is education primarily in the prenatal and the perinatal period, even preconception. And so my life, Nesha, has always focused
Mm.
on preparing parents,
Okay,
preparing them for pregnancy, preparing them for birth, preparing them for parenting. I think it's the most important job that any of us have.
perfect. Maybe we can start from this point, Barbara. Uh, Prenatal Alliance, we always say actually preparation needs to start before the conception. And you
Yes.
just mentioned.
Mhm.
So let's start from this point. What do you think we need to educate the parents? How we can educate, or if I mean, do you
Mhm.
believe in education, or do you want to use another word?
Well, I think life experience, um, and let me just talk about building the brain
Hmm.
of a new human being. Um, from the point of conception, we take the DNA of the father, the DNA of the mother, and we start with one cell and end up with this wiggly, um,
Hmm.
beautiful, intelligent being that is moldable and has feelings and experience. So where do we begin? We begin with preparing for conception. I think it's vitally important
Hmm.
to use the intelligence that we have throughout the entire planet um, to create a possible human from the start.
Wow. Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so that means preparing for pregnancy, preparing for conception means eating the right food, um, clearing the brain of patterns of behavior that we don't want to epigenetically continue.
Hmm.
Um, if anybody remembers Marie Kondo, she's the genius who said, "Get rid of your stuff." Okay,
First.
yeah, and I always use that as an analogy for preparing for pregnancy.
Oh.
I want you to go to your closet in your mind and take out the stuff that doesn't give you joy. When she said that, hold it, look at it, and if it doesn't give you joy, then it doesn't belong in your closet or in your mind.
Mm.
So the act of pregnancy, also the changes that the female body goes through, the 33 hormones that are prepared and released at different stages in pregnancy,
Mm-hmm.
that's also an act of cleaning your closet. And I think it was Sri Swami Satchidananda who said that conception, pregnancy, and birth for a woman is the equivalent of any other person sitting in a cave in a mountain in a state of samadhi for 20 years. That you have that much spiritual growth, that you're cracked open through your emotions and the physical changes that are happening. And so if we just think, oh, I'm pregnant, I'm going to have a baby, it's from our perspective in the Prenatal Alliance, we want those two parents, both of them, the mother and her partner, who's ever taking responsibility for this baby, to prepare their lives for honoring, for respecting, for being a guide, but also being guided by this new human being. Because from 20 weeks of pregnancy, Nesha, to the end of the 7th year, that's when the possible human brain gets wired and gets connected. Daniel Siegel talks about attachment, and David Chamberlain told us about that babies remember everything that happens to them in the womb, during the birth, in the early prenatal period, when we don't have language. We just have intrinsic memory. And what I like to tell people is all of us, every single one of us, remembers our birth through our fascia, through our endocrine system, through our autonomic nervous system. And if things are smooth and we receive what we need, then that helps us become that possible human.
Perfect, perfect. And I know, you're a midwife and also childbirth educator. You give some education, childbirth education to parents.
I'm still teaching. I occasionally, I don't do the job of midwifery full time anymore, because I travel around the world,
Perfect.
teaching in Turkey
Yes, different
and
countries.
Kazakhstan and Israel and
Tanzania,
Tanzania.
India, China.
If
How
there
many countries, by the way, did you go? Tell me.
81.
Did you hear that? 81.
81 countries. And guess what? Babies come out the same way in every single country.
Nothing is gonna change, huh?
It's and doctors do try to manipulate it and change the labor and birth for convenience. And I've been in countries where the cesarean rate is above 80%. And I've been in countries where the cesarean rate is below 15%. And I think how we treat babies at birth and mothers at birth determines a lot of how we live our lives.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you think how much the parents know about the prenatal education, prenatal memory, prenatal life, and its consequences in the lifespan?
Nada. That's Spanish for nothing. Nichivo, Russian for nothing. Let's say somebody comes into my prenatal education class. They're coming in thinking that they're preparing for birth, like learning how to give birth. Well, you don't learn how to give birth, you do birth. So my entire prenatal education class is, well, one of the fathers that finished the class, he said, when I came here, my wife kind of dragged me.
Sometimes
Yeah,
it
because,
happens.
and I thought you were going to teach us how to give birth. And what you just taught us was how to live life.
Oh, that's powerful.
Yes.
Mm,
And
mm,
I've had
mm,
many, many fathers just blown away
mm,
in the concepts that we talk about. And I do in our class 3, it's
mm,
called Facing Fear,
mhm,
um, letting worry work for you, and teaching them how to process, and 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 giving them examples of perhaps the thoughts that you have
mm,
didn't didn't just originate with you.
mm.
Perhaps they were thoughts that your mother had while she was pregnant with you.
So we're talking about epigenetic and also transgenerational transitions, kind of, huh?
And I
Mm.
asked them to study that. My book reading list, and today I must say parents don't read a whole lot. But if it's a first baby, they're usually two
Little bit
working.
more.
Yeah, but they have a little bit more time, and the the um, the course that I teach is the basis of it is hypnosis.
Mm,
And let me give you my definition of
please.
hypnosis.
Mm,
It's achieving what you want
mm,
by shifting your focus. So
mm.
if you focus on negative things in your life, you see a lot of negative things around you.
Results. And yeah.
And if you focus on positive things in your life, I teach them gratitude and something that I call awe, that that sense of wonderment
Mm,
that a child shows us when they
mm,
come out and they stomp in puddles and and hold out their hands so a butterfly can land on their hand, and then they go,
yeah.
oh my gosh, I want them to go into their labor
Mm,
saying thank you for every opportunity to have this baby emerge out of them.
mm. And maybe with the curiosity, because curiosity is like, I'm wondering what's going to happen next, isn't it?
And curiosity is only available
Hmm.
when we are in our ventral vagal.
Mm,
Curiosity, compassion for ourselves and others, the, the field of empathy gets wider, which
mm,
includes this baby. And
mm,
so if you're in your dorsal vagal or your sympathetic nervous system, you're disconnected from your body, you're disconnected from the baby, you think everything is being done to you.
mm,
I call it birth being done to you.
mm,
And it's our job as providers to help with techniques to help women shift,
mm.
not to get the baby out, no, but to help them shift from that disconnection to connection,
Connection. Mm-hmm.
to
Mm,
being calm and centered.
mm.
I call it my 10 C's. Um, and I
Mm.
don't know if I
Tell
can
us
list,
about it. Yes,
I don't,
10
I
C's.
don't know if I can list them all. I
Let's
just,
see.
I just packed the notebook into a suitcase that has the list. But let me think.
Or we can add something together.
Yes, okay, I'll start.
Yeah.
Uh, we already said curious,
Evet, yes.
connected,
Connection, connected.
calm.
Calm. I was thinking about it.
Um, there is also compassion.
Perfect. Yes.
So we've got 4,
Care.
yes. And I do have 10. Um, I also think that it's comprehensive,
Hmm.
that it encompasses
Hmm.
all of our feelings,
Mhm.
all
Mhm.
of our body.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so it'll take me a while to think of a few more. And that is so important. The baby is going to come out no matter what, whether it comes out vaginally or it
Mm.
comes out by we call it upper and lower surgery.
Correct. Yes.
It doesn't
From the different doors, let's say.
it, in essence it doesn't matter. What
Mhm.
matters is what you do with the baby afterwards.
Hmm. Tell us about it. Although we were talking about the prenatal area, but
Yes.
let's touch a little bit about just after the labor. What
Well,
we have to do from
it's
your eyes for the
connect,
baby.
connect,
Mm.
connect, connect, connect,
Mm.
with zero separation. And
Wow.
especially if it's been a difficult birth or a surgical birth.
Or maybe IVF as well. For the IVF
Well,
babies is more important.
and IVF babies, they need to connect a lot sooner.
Mm.
Um, I
During the pregnancy, you mean,
at at implantation.
as well. Yeah.
Oh,
Mm.
absolutely.
Mm.
I have a good friend. She's a rabbi, uh, Rabbi Haas, Lila
Mm.
Haas, and she had a very difficult time conceiving, and she um, did in vitro,
Mhm.
and she was on the surgical table getting ready for the implantation, and she asked the doctor to stop so she could pray and talk to the baby. And
Mm.
she said it was like a still point. Everybody was holding their breath while she said, "Thank you, God, for giving us this technology so that couples
Mm.
who, for whatever reason, can't conceive, and please, God, let my child know that I want this baby. I want this pregnancy. I want to give birth."
Mm.
And she said, and I, even as I think about it, she said that the whole room stopped, and
Wow.
everyone, the technicians, the doctor, everyone
It is a moment, I guess.
was in tears, because
Mm.
nobody thinks about the baby in that moment. And it's so important for children pre-pregnant to call them in,
Mhm.
and during the pregnancy to understand that they need to know that they are wanted,
Yes. I think this is very important. Yeah,
wanted, cherished, um, that they have a place.
absolutely. Yeah. What, Barbara, what about we're talking about the babies and the mothers and the fathers? What about the birth team?
Ah,
As a midwife, doctor, doula, psychologist, I mean, we are also human beings. And what do you think about our prenatal education?
well, Nesha,
This is all story, huh?
it's vitally important, vital, that every single person in the room connects through that parasympathetic ventral vagal to say, I'm here, I'm listening deeply, because the fetus during a birth only knows connection, only.
Mm.
And so if the birth team can help the mother stay connected, can help the father stay connected as a couple and as parents in that moment. How many times have I told a mother, let the baby lead the way? because they're the smartest person. Clinically speaking, they're the most connected to the source of all creation. Whatever you call source, every single person in the room benefits if they stay connected.
That's perfect.
No matter what is going on. Because the mother is going through the process of realignment. It's a process of letting go, surrendering to the force of nature that is just this powerful. Some women say, did you get the license plate of that truck that just ran over me? And that's not to make light of it, but it's so physically engaging that we forget that it's also a spiritual transformation.
I think this is very important. Yeah, to welcome the baby together with all manners. Yeah.
I'm going to step out on a limb right now in the tree of life.
Yes.
And that limb is that in the 1,000+ births I've been to, I talk to the baby. I often hear the baby's voice. They give me messages. One baby said, "My mom really needs to talk to my father."
Here we go.
And he wasn't present. He wasn't physically present. And so we arranged for a phone call. Another one, "I'm not sure my father wants me." And as the baby had come out and was in the mother's arms, I said to the father, "Tell your baby you want him." And love him. And he looked at the baby and said, "I love you, baby." And I looked at him and I said, "Mean it." And all of a sudden, it was like lightning went through him. He just electrified. And he looked at this tiny little baby in his wife's arm and said, Anthony, I love you." And
better to know this.
And that's when the baby cried. Baby hadn't cried up to that point.
Wow, it's a lot of touching stories, really.
So our
Very
influence
powerful.
of the whole team and everybody, I asked the parents to bring everybody who's going to be at their birth for a team meeting. And that means, well, the midwives are there. Maybe we have an apprentice or a doula. Hopefully we would have a birth psychologist.
Hopefully.
But also if she invited her best girlfriend or
grandmothers,
or grandmothers,
aunties.
everybody has to come to this team meeting to say, this is what we want to accomplish.
Oh, okay. And do you also talk with them later?
Yes.
After the labor as well?
Oh, yes. A birth debrief is essential.
Yes.
And I ask mothers to, when the time is right, to tell the birth story to the baby. Right from the first day.
She knows, huh? She feels what is the right for the baby.
Yes, whether it's the right day or the right time. And first of all, I ask all mothers, no matter how the baby was born, to stay in the bed for a minimum of 5 full days. You're just not leaving the bed.
People, you hear that? Don't leave the bed for 5 days.
People come to you with the food.
To take care of you.
They take care of the mother so she can take care of the baby. She's the newborn. She's the newborn mother.
Wow. How is it going to possible in those days, Barbara? Tell us about this. And also, I'm not joking, but as you said, also the parents don't read so much. So,
So,
what is your
so
proposal?
audiobooks.
Okay.
Audiobooks number one.
Listen the books.
Yes, and put them on while
Yeah,
you're doing dishes and
yeah,
while you're making love, while
yeah.
you're taking a bath. You know, there's always time to learn more.
Okay. Hmm.
I'm remembering one mother in my class. Her name is Jonisa, and Jonisa and her husband came to all the classes. I have 5 classes and then a 6th class to prepare them for use of water. And we'll talk about that for a little bit. But Jonisa and her husband came, and the midwives, I wasn't at her birth, but I did a postpartum birth review with her. And she told me her whole birth story, which was 24 hours of labor at home, 12 hours of labor in the hospital.
Okay.
And then she decided, based on the information that her doctors gave her, that it would be appropriate for her to have a cesarean. And she said, I kept an attitude of gratitude the whole entire time.
Beautiful.
And she would not have been able to do that without the classes and the things that she wrote. The book that they received from me is about 250 pages, and it covers everything.
She listened.
She listened
Great.
deeply, and now she wants to become a childbirth educator.
Hey.
Yeah, and that's how it grows. Each one teaches one. Her mother wants to become a childbirth educator. They want to work as a team.
And it's also important, the information from woman to woman, huh?
Yes, absolutely.
As well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that reading list has not one single book about giving birth. It's about healing your trauma. It's about understanding what babies need, what babies want. And that they want your undivided attention. And they need connection in this place that I call the sanctuary. So the womb is the sanctuary. They came from a sanctuary.
Yes.
We're spiritual beings seeking a physical experience for one reason and one reason only. And that's to experience.
Perfect.
Life, feelings, love, anger. It's all the same. There's no right or wrong.
Sure. It's just an experience.
It's just an experience.
Yes. I know you can talk for hours and we can talk for hours, but I know your expertise is a Waterbirth. So just give me maybe a few sentences about the prenatal education for the Waterbirth, and then we will soon come to the end of our conversation.
Yes, well, it's water has memory. Water is healing. I want everyone, whether they're pregnant or not, but if they've been born, they need to go back to the water and be near water, on water, in water, or under the water in different periods of your life, and especially in pregnancy, because the thoughts that you have while you're pregnant are put into that amniotic fluid. And when women get back into the water, they feel like they're in the womb again. And so it's safe. It's been researched. It's been studied. And anthropologically, we probably evolved for about 2 million years beside the oceans of the world when our planet had more water than it does now. And we have evidence that many cultures throughout history used water to ease labor, to increase comfort, and to produce easy births.
Is there a special techniques to educate people for waterbirth, or it is the same like for all birds?
What we have to do is uneducate
Okay, no
or
education, guys.
or re-educate what normal birth is. And I truly believe that water was given to us by God as a gift in the 20th century.
Wow.
So that we could see what normal birth actually looked like. And so, yes, you can introduce water into any hospital environment, but it's not about taking birth as we know it on the bed and putting it into the tub. It's putting the tub so that we can change how we do birth on the bed. And that's the secret.
I think so. I think so. When I hear you, that's the secret, like changing how we gonna change it. So, well, let's also just pronounce about our pregnancy day to the world.
World Pregnancy Day
Yes.
has been
Announced.
a consensus from all of us childbirth educators and doctors and midwives that believe in this as March 22nd every year. So next March 2026, there will be celebrations throughout the world for World Pregnancy Day.
Yes. And let's celebrate all together.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Barbara. On behalf of Prenatal Alliance, we are really honored to have you here. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.